Okay, in this lesson, you are going to be learning how to find the volume of cones. Okay, so the volume of a cone, again, you have a circular base, so is with a radius r, is 1/3 the area of the base, pi r squared, because it's a circle, times the height, h. Okay, so here's our formula, 1/3 times the big B times h. And remember that big B is the area of the circle on the bottom, which is the formula pi r squared. So we use this formula to write this out. So we do 1/3 times pi, 3.14, times our radius squared times our height. Okay, we'll always be given all but one of the pieces of information, usually, when we're trying to find these, okay? Either we're missing the volume and we have all of the information to calculate it, or we might be given the volume and be missing the radius or the height. Okay, so let's go ahead and try an example. Let's write our formula always a good idea to just write it. 1/3 times pi r squared h. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write 1/3, which also remember 1/3, timesing by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. I'm going to do times 3.14 times radius, which is right here, which 3 squared is 9, times our height. Okay, so, and our height, whoops, let me actually write the height in, which is 6. So let's get our calculator out, and we will do 3.14 times 9 times 6 equals 169.56, and then we need to divide by 3, and we get 56.52. 56.52 inches cubed, right? All right. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Or the next one's actually for you to try already. Let's just make sure you have all the information that you need. You've got a height right here of 7. You've got a radius right here of 2. Follow the formula up here, just like I just did, and you should be fine. Okay, let's try number 2. Or it's another you try for you, but let's just make sure. The only thing different here is that you are given a diameter. Okay, so that's the diameter. So remember, when you go to do your formula, you need to take half of the diameter. Radius is equal to 1/2 of d. Okay, so just remember that. Otherwise, you should have no trouble. All right, let's do a word problem. Okay, let me just get my stylus ready to go. A cone-shaped paper cup is filled with water. The height of the cup, is 10 centimeters. Okay, so that's the height. And the diameter is 8 centimeters. What is the volume of the paper cup? Round to the nearest tenth. You've got the example right here too, but I'm just going to do it for you because it's sometimes better if you can see it. 1/3 times pi, 3.14, times a height of 10, and times radius squared. Radius is going to be equal to 4 if the diameter is 8, so that would be 16. So we would do 3.14 times 10 times 16, and then divide that by 3, and we get 167. I got 167.5 on my calculator. They may have used the pi symbol instead of 3.14. It's fine, as long as you're close, okay? And then that's going to be centimeters cubed. Okay, so my thing's it's taking a long time to log in. Okay, here, we have a cone, we have a radius here, and we have, I just want to look at something. Yeah. Okay, here we have a cone with a radius of 6 and a height of 20. So we're going to do 1/3 times pi, 3.14. Maybe this time we'll use the pi symbol and just see what that looks like. Times a radius squared, that would be 36, and a height of 20. So let's try it with the pi sign this time. So we're going to do 36 times 20 times pi equals that, and then we're going to divide that by 3, and then we will round it to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to round up to 754. So that would be 754 feet cubed. All right, you have a word problem for you to try, and let's just read it. April is filling 6 identical cones for her piñata. Each cone has a radius of 1.5 inches, that's a radius, and a height of 9 inches. What is the total volume of the cones? Round to the nearest tenth. So find the radius, or find the volume of one cone, but notice you do have 6. So please multiply your answer at the end by 6. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be doing is finding the volume of composite solids. Remember, composite is like a compilation, multiple things. When a composite solid includes cylinders and cones, you can find the volume by decomposing it into solids whose volumes you know how to find. So for example, we have here, I'm going to highlight here, we've got a cylinder right here, and then we've got our cone right here. Okay, so we find the volume of the cylinder and the volume of the cone. Okay, so we would do, let's see here, we're going to find the volume of the cylinder, which if we remember was pi r squared times h. That one was, so cylinder pi r squared h, cone 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, so for our cylinder, we have pi times radius. Okay, we have a diameter. They've given us a diameter, so our radius is 4. So 16, because 4 squared is 16, and our height is 4. Okay, so we'll calculate that. So 16 times 4 times pi. 16 times 4 times pi equals that. So 201.1, we'll round it to the nearest tenth. 201.1. And now let's go do our cone. 1/3 times pi times radius squared. Radius is going to be the same because it's using the same same base. So 16 times our height of the cone is 5 though. So we will do 16 times 5 times pi equals that, divided by 3 equals 83.8. Okay, so that one's going to be 83.8, and then we add those together. So 83.8 plus 201, 83.8 plus 201.1 equals 284.9. 284.9 feet cubed. Okay? Why don't you try this one? Now, just a couple things. Let's just make sure we know what we're doing here. Looks like we've got a radius of 6. We have a height of the cone is 5.5. Let me just write that in a little better for you. 5.5. And then our height of our, actually we have 2 cones. So this one we have 2 cones. So we have a 13, okay, for the height of this one. So you have 2 cones put together on this one. Okay, so see if you can find the volume by finding the volume of 2 cones, okay? Radius is the same for both. All right? Last thing I want you to do for me is just tell me, how do you feel about finding the volume of cones or composite solids? Just give yourself a little highlight. It's also going to be in the note check, but how confident are you about finding these? I find this to be pretty easy, but maybe you have some questions that I still need to answer. So if you do, reach out, let me know, send me a screenshot, whatever, and I'll help you some more. Bye for now.